It's like he just wouldn't shut up. Stay tuned for some videos and we'll talk about comics on the other side.
Hey, I'm Aaron Lopresti here at San Diego Comic-Con in 2024, and I just want to let you guys all know that Fantastic Comics is the best comic shop in the world.
Or not to state the obvious, but you yourself are black, African American. I mean, isn't the KKK opposed to your race?
See, I knew you were going to try that. You haven't been listening to me, son. This is the new Clinton, okay? Let me show you something.
Tie a yellow ribbon round the old oak tree. It's been 3 long years. Do you still want me? If I don't see a ribbon round the old oak tree, I'll stay on the bus, forget about us, put the blame on me.
Did you know that every 7 minutes a black person is born in this country without soul? Hello, I'm B.B. King. Won't you help Don Simmons and the thousands of others that suffer from this tragic disorder? Its cruel symptoms can strike anyone. Let's take a look.
I think the Republican Party has done one heck of a job. Don't you, June?
I'll say, Ward, we Republicans have turned this country around.
Safety and good mileage are the 2 things I looked for in a new car. That's why I bought a Volvo station wagon.
Hi, I'm president of the David Hartman fan club here in Glendale. I've even met David Hartman once. What a neat guy.
Chim chimney, chim chimney, chim chim cherry. A sweep is as lucky can be. Chim chimney, chim chimney, chim chim cheroo. Good luck will rub off when I shake hands with you.
This is B.B. King saying, won't you please give, so that Don Simmons here and so many others can become useful members of society.
Or below me a kiss, and that's lucky too.
Right to blacks without soul. Post Office Box 1305A, Atlanta, Georgia. Thank you.
That's the T.C.
Okay. To answer your question, Natalie, the board of directors was a little concerned that we didn't have a back-to-school drug or Christmas drug.
We didn't have an International Women's Day drug.
Exactly. So, I tried to remind them that when I invented Stummies...
Oh, Stummies, yes, Don. Thank God that you did.
It took both time and effort. But unfortunately, the board takes a narrow view, and in their own narrow way, they think that the company is losing money, which in fact we are, but again, I think this is the narrow view.
Well, damn them, Don. I mean, what the hell do they know?
What do they know? Thank you.
Well, they're insisting that we cut our research outlay by 60%. Of course, I told them to fuck off.
Good for you, Don.
But then, out loud, I said I'd consider it.
Of course, Don. Exactly the right thing to do. Play with them.
So, where are we with that, Marv?
With what, Don?
Our restructuring plan?
You mean the thing that you just mentioned just now?
Yeah.
Oh, we're on top of that, Don.
Good.
Well, what happened?
Oh, well, it got so that every pissant prairie punk who thought he could shoot a gun would ride into town to try out the Waco Kid. I must have killed more men than Cecil B. DeMille. Got pretty gritty. I started to hear the word draw in my sleep. And one day, I was just walking down the street, and I heard a voice behind me say, "Reach for it, mister." I spun around, and there I was, face to face with a 6-year-old kid. Well, I just threw my guns down and walked away. Little bastard shot me in the ass. So I limped to the nearest saloon, crawled inside a whiskey bottle, and I've been there ever since.
Have you even heard him sing?
He made me sing last night. And if I were straight, I'd make you high-five me right now.
You are letting your judgment be completely clouded by lust.
Yes, thank you. See, Robert, Saul gets it.
Look, this isn't about me anymore. That dunce cannot be Sky.
Robert, I hear you, but I feel like you're not even considering Stevie's badonkadonk.
What do you mean better in bed? Either do it or you don't. No. They're like variables that I might not be good at. Like what variables? Like, you know, giving blowjobs. What's the big deal? I never did it. You've never given a blowjob? Never? Stace, there's nothing to it. It's so easy. All right, gotta check it out. Here. Relax your throat muscles. Don't bite. And slide it in. Good. Try it again. Good. Push it slowly in and out. You got it. Okay. Can I ask you something and you promise not to laugh? Sure. Okay. When a guy has an orgasm, how much comes out? Quart or so. No, I'm just kidding. Just practice. Not with your tongue.
I like cream pies as much as the next guy. Oh, don't say it out loud. Oh, okay. Let me make a cream pie for you, okay? Then you can try it. See what you think. I do not want to taste your cream pie. They taste great. I can guarantee it. You've tasted yours? Of course I have. Haven't you? No. I've tasted mine. I didn't like it. I've tasted mine, yeah. I liked mine.
All right, come out to our blast out.
For shame, Doc. Hunting rabbits with an elephant gun.
Elephant gun?
That's right, Doc. So why don't you go shoot yourself an elephant? You do, and I'll give you such a pinch!
We're going to start our volleys. We hope you like the show. For everything is ready. We're raring to go. We'll give you all the latest songs and dances full of pep. We're gonna start with high chops. Just watch this chorus steps.
Originally settled as Ocean View during the 1850s, the city's population boomed with displaced
But in my own way, I am king. Hail to the king, baby.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to Fantastic Comics Presents. This is a YouTube show where we talk about comics. For those of you that are new here.
My name is Yul Carter, comic book retailer in Berkeley, California.
That's right. In Berkeley, California, every Wednesday through Sunday, we talk about comics. We're up in 12 to 5 to sell you comic books, graphic novels. I don't know, impart some wisdom. That's kind of what this show is. Just an encapsulated form of what goes on in the comic store. It's a lot of sitting around and talking. Kind of like this. And for those of you that don't know, we play the videos so that you can get out of whatever entanglement you're in. I know it's going to be tough when baseball season comes. You know, you have that late night. Well, I guess it depends on where you are. Let me know in the chat how you're doing. And please, if anybody is interested, please let me know what you think about comics, the state of comics, what you're enjoying in the comments down below. There are some links in the description. And if you're so inclined, you might want to hit like on the video, the thumbs up. And if you haven't, subscribe and hit the bell for notifications, all of that. All right, we did it. There's some other shilling, but this whole thing is about shilling, you know what I mean? And just talking about things that, the people in the store are interested in. And sometimes the very first segment is something that, I'm pushing it. It's tough sometimes to really come up with anything. But this week, there was a big event that occurred. And this is our first segment. That's right. This is the Wrestling Minute, and on the lead up to WrestleMania in the WWE, there was a PLE, a premium live event. And in that, it was called the Elimination Chamber. There was a women's match and a men's match. And in the women's match, we were going to find out who's going to face, I don't know, somebody over Rhea Ripley over at WrestleMania. And then we're going to find out who the men are going to face as far as Cody Rhodes is concerned. Let me drink this water. This might be a little bit long, and just beware. I hope these are short enough. I mean, I think they are. Let's see. Okay, all those screenshots are from Raw. Here we go. The first thing that happened in the Elimination Chamber for the women was this.
Some comeuppance! Wait a minute!
That's right. Jade Cargill came back, and she was looking pretty impressive. And instead of hitting Liv, she hit her friend, Naomi, over there in the corner. And she just took her out, and it was right in front of her friend, Bianca Belair. Very, very sad situation. Bianca Belair actually was the winner, so we'll see if there isn't some sort of shenanigans to go along with this. Okay. Excellent. Gotta make it long so that we're not in trouble. There was a men's Olympic. So there were some good matches. The women had a tag match. It was all right. It really wasn't that great, but who cares? And then there was this Kevin Owens, Sami Zayn, anything goes match. Street fight? I don't know, something like that. That was very good. But the important thing was, like, who's going to face Cody Rhodes? There's a bunch of, like, people in this match that, I could see Drew McIntyre winning again. John Cena, CM Punk. It seems like the way to go, for sure. Well, Seth Rollins was eliminated by CM Punk, and then this happened.
They give you some relief, like Punk showed there.
They give you some leverage. Oh,
and then Cena scrambled and got a crossface on. Let's see, do I have a picture of that? He got a crossface, and if you'll take a look there, it's cinched in a whole lot. Usually there's a lot of air in between the crossface that Cena will do with, around his chin, CM Punk's chin. John Cena gets the win, and he is going to WrestleMania. Now, of course, CM Punk's going to be really upset. The Rock came out after Cody came out because he wanted to get he wanted Cody to like join him, right? And I don't even really understand the story. I'm not watching SmackDown all that much or anything like that. But, The Rock's just trying to insinuate himself in WrestleMania once again. And he wants Cody to be his boy, right? So Cody has an answer for him. And what is it?
Hey, Rock! Go fuck yourself!
And if you notice, Cena's like cheering and everything's all great. And then they hug. And then Cena, all of a sudden, his face goes from smiley to serious. And The Rock gives this funny symbol like that. Cut his throat. Cut his throat. It's time. And then this is what Cena does. Oh, I can't believe it. What the hey? You know what I mean? I mean, how could he have done this? After all this time, when everybody was like, oh, he's going to finally turn heel, and he doesn't turn heel. His last year ever, this is going to be the way we're going to go out. I mean, nobody really saw it coming. It was kind of cool. But if you're thinking about it long term, as long a term as 1 year is, I don't know. And maybe it's just he's trying to like, this is the divorce right here. I'm going to be a heel. All the kids that got to see me growing up, and this is my Hogan moment, basically. And I'm like, all right, well, we'll see what happens on Raw the next night. Well, what happens on Raw the next night is CM Punk comes out and he starts talking shit on everybody. Talks shit about Dwayne Johnson. He talks shit about John Cena. I can see you. We can see you. You sell out. But then he starts talking about Seth Rollins, and he starts by talking about Seth Rollins' wife. And Seth Rollins comes out pretty quick, and then this happens.
He's heading toward the entranceway. Here's Rollins. Pat, the fight is on. Yes, it is.
Yeah, it is. So that's the longest one. That's the one that's going to get me banned in like Germany or something like that. Excellent. Show's going along. We get a cool little match with Lyra Valkyria. She's defending her belt versus Ivy Nile. There's a whole bunch of title defenses. At the end of the night, there's a title defense between Rhea Ripley defending against Io Sky. The winner is going to be the person to go to WrestleMania and face Bianca Belair, who happens to be sitting outside. And she kind of like is cheering on Io, and that really upsets Rhea Ripley, who's like, let me see if I have that pick. Do I have that pick? And no, that's our Lyra. I don't have the pick. It doesn't matter. What happens is this. Let's see if this works.
Sky top rope. Over the moonsault connects. Sky cover. Hooks the leg.
Rhea Ripley loses on a Raw, and it looks like Io Sky is going to WrestleMania to face Bianca Belair. We'll see if that doesn't change along the way. That was pretty crazy. Pretty good 2 days of wrestling, Saturday and Monday, and I'm sure I'm going to hear about it from some of the customers. Oh, and then lastly, on Wednesday, going up against AEW, but this time on Tubi. WWE has an Evolve thing, and it has who's the woman that got she said some negative things about Chris Jericho, and she's been a bunch of different companies. I can't remember. Smiley Kylie Ray, that's what it is. Smiley Kylie Ray. So she's going to be on that show. They have some other people, and it's just young people going up against AEW. That's pretty hilarious. And that was your very extended wrestling match. All right. I'm going to be very slow about showing any more videos. I feel like I'm skating on thin ice right here. I already know I'm demonetized. That's cool. No big deal about that. I just don't want to I hate the delays on the shows, you know what I mean? All right, before we get to you guys, because I definitely want to open this tall can of beer, we're going to take a look at some comic books from last week. And then we're going to talk about the state of Fantastic Comics. Fantastic Comics? Is that all comics or just the store? We'll figure it out. All right. Best of last week. I've got some runners ups. First up. And a lot of this, like I've told you before, it is sometimes based on sales, not necessarily what I've read, because I don't have time to read everything. And some things come up, and even if it's not something I'm totally down with, it's something to pay attention to. Case in point, we've got Bernard Chang. I like his art, doing a Captain America and Volstagg one-shot, written by J. Michael Straczynski. JMS is doing one-shots featuring two characters that are kind of unlikely hanging out with each other. This sold out, so I had to reorder more. That's the runner-up to the top 5. Runner-up number 2, we've got G.I. Joe 314. The numbers stayed the same, but something happened. What happened? I don't know, but I sold out, and I didn't even get to read it yet. So I have to order more, obviously. And the last runner-up is Batman: The Long Halloween. I've been keeping the numbers pretty tight because this is a 10-issue series, and I think there's going to be a lot of trade waiting as far as this is concerned. Each issue is done by a different illustrator. Having said that, Bill Sienkiewicz did the art, and of course I have to reorder because I sold out. Now, coming in at number 5, we've got X-Men number 12. I just read issue number 11, issue number 12. This series does well. This main cover sold out. I have a couple of the variants. But this was a great follow-up second issue. I like McKay because a lot of times he'll do 2-issue stories, 1-issue stories. And it's, it feels better when you don't have to read 17 issues to get the entire story. And this one was fun because it had Corsair in it from the issue before and Alpha Flight in this one. So, excellent. Well, what else do you need in an X-Men issue? I don't know if Fantastic Four is any better than it has been in the past, but there's something about this whole One World Under Doom that Ryan North is also writing. His main book is Fantastic Four, and since this is all so very conveniently it ties in with Ryan North's Marvel career right now, this sold out. And again, I've actually upped my numbers on this, so I'm a little surprised. And of course, there's a reorder in there. You got to wonder when there's not going to be a reorder. Absolute Wonder Woman number 6? Number 5. This was a near sellout. The numbers are higher than some of the other books. And within my store, I think it's a tie between Batman and Wonder Woman as far as the better absolute book. But we're going to have more new ones soon. Number 2, we've got Savage Sword of Conan. This was a sellout. I actually did hold some for customers that didn't necessarily ask for it because I knew they'd want it. Robert De La Torre did the artwork, and it was a Roy Thomas story. Again, another reorder is involved in this one. And some that I definitely have issues of, but you're going to want in and get this soon. Ultimate Spider-Man number 14. Something big happens. Don't look on the internet. It just ruins things for you. Come to this show. And it's towards the end of the book, so don't page ahead. I know some people are like me, and we read it from the back sometimes. Don't do that for this issue. Just read this issue. If you haven't read the last couple, get caught up. Chichetto's doing the artwork. He's wonderful. And this whole Savage Land Craven storyline with Mysterio and the, what's his name? The Mole Man. It's pretty cool. And those are the best comics of last week. Unless you have something you want to say as far as that's concerned, you can always let me know. Do that in the chat. What? You skipped this book? No way. This is my favorite book. How could you have left out this book? Well, once again, it's more about my customers, and sometimes not even about what I think. And oops, when I get, when it's not necessarily about what I think. And when it comes to a store, I can only curate so much. People, oh my goodness. What happens is someone comes in, what do you like? And I say, well, my name's Yule, and I have stuff around in the store that has my name on it, so definitely check those things out. And maybe you find out something that they're interested in. Let's just, for example, say Batman. And you're like, all right, well, I have all this, very interesting other Batman stuff rather than the stuff that everybody wants to read. And ultimately they get Hush, Long Halloween, Dark Knight Returns, Year One, maybe the Court of Owls storyline. And that's what usually happens. So that's the best of last week. I guess that's a good time to do this. I want to say this to each and every one of you. I mean it.
We didn't come to borrow any money. We didn't come to borrow any dough. We didn't come to borrow any trouble. We just stopped in to say hello. Oh, hello to you, Mr. Benny. Please don't think that we are hammy. We just stopped in from Alabama. We just stopped in to say hello. Oh boy, you said it. We just stopped in to say hello. And don't forget it. We just stopped in to say hello. And I'm hello. Hello. Goodbye.
Hello, everybody. First up, this dude spent money, so you got to start with this one. Jaguaron 2. The evil wizard Rockabidi made Majin Sina. It's a DBZ reference. Dragon Ball Z. So I wanted to know, like, on Raw, what Cena was going to do, I can't believe I didn't bring up that video. I have the Cena response, and if you haven't seen it, it wasn't on Raw the next night. It was actually on right after the PLE. It's hard to not say pay-per-view sometimes, but this is what the response was. A mic drop. This is like Ruck Fool Cena. If he comes out and raps, I don't know. I might have to get out my chain gang. There was never a chain that I had. Berkeley chain gang, you know what I mean? Jill got me the the John Cena CD, and it was much loved by many a person in the store when I worked at the store and played it. All right, first up, Fantinuum. Yo, 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 yo. I see what you did there. State of disunion. Hey, man, I'm just here for the chaos. It's true. I'm like the Joker from The Dark Knight. Some men just want to watch the world burn. Jesus Christ. Really? I mean, your shit's tenuous right now. I mean, I'm sure some of this shit that's going on is going to affect your bottom line, don't you think? Hey, Eric O'Sullivan says, hey, I got my plane ticket and a hotel reservation booked for Dallas Fan Expo this year. How about that? Boops for Gizmo. For those of you that haven't met my dog, do I have a pic? Oh, yeah, I do. This is Gizmo. Oh, isn't he cute? All right, so, yeah, still got 7 weeks to WrestleMania, so a lot of build up to go for sure. There's a lot of stuff that's going to happen. We're going to see, why Cena came out and did what he did. You got all those undercard matches. They're going to do 2 nights, so holy cow. The Lithalore wants to upset me and says Liefeld. No, I'm just joking. Liefeld actually killed it on his Batman Long Halloween cover last week. I don't remember it. But if you're ever interested, you should follow Fantinuum over on Instagram. It's just like his name. I'm sure he'll say something soon. And he posts all the covers that he gets from my store. And it's almost always entirely, well, it's definitely DC. And then there's like a bunch of other stuff that's interesting because, he gets interesting stuff. What are you going to say? Let me take that pic off. All right, good. All right, next up. No Alpha Flight book because of the tariffs. No. We got it in under the tariffs. It's fine. Everything's okay. Man. Poor Alpha Flight. Just when they get out of prison. And now they're going to be the bad guys. So at the WWE event, they sang the national anthem, and it was held in Toronto this year. And as has been a custom in Canada, when the national anthem has been sung, it's a lot of booing, or even played, I guess. There's a lot of booing going on. And there's been a lot of video that they would show, oh, check out how Canada was before all this shit. And, they're all singing along and everything, Ain't not right now. So at that PLE, Logan Paul came out with an American flag. And of course, he was getting booed. He is a heel. But Michael Cole and Pat McAfee were like, I can't believe I'm saying this, but I'm totally on Logan Paul's side, Way to be the announcer. Oh, you're objective now? Is that what you are? One's a heel, one's not. Oh, these announcers these days. That's the worst part about wrestling today. Ultimate Spider-Man was pretty cool. I will say the age reveal for Black Cat made them doing some of those sexified covers a little weird. For who? Not me. What if you're a kid and you're reading it? You're like, yeah, awesome. Also, are they really all that sexified? I mean, it's spandex, so that is definitely sexified, but what about a dance class? Did you know Hush 2 is coming? Hush 2 is here, you all. Are you ready? Hush. It's true, it is coming. Jolly. Hey, guys. Hey, Jolly. Dwayne Muth. Cena as Peacemaker selling hefty trash bags. Make it so. Mark had, oh shit. Wes and crew are going to get their panties all twisted up about the Daredevil Born Again. Like Trump has not been a comic book villain since the 80s. Well, yeah, I agree. I agree. Definitely somebody to make fun of in some ways. Definitely in an admiring way at one time, a little bit more. And in some circles, even more than now. But the villain, I mean, I don't know. What are you gonna do? Yeah, and they well, I just don't know how performative it is sometimes when there's so much negativity with what somebody is saying. I'm just here to sell some comic books to people that want to buy some comics. You know what I mean? I'm gonna let you know about them. And you mean say something now like you're a whore, a DC whore? Phantom's a DC whore, big on Superman. You know what I mean? My LCS told me they're not bringing in any copies of the giant size X-Men books with Ms. Marvel. I wonder if other stores will do the same. Is there a reason why I wouldn't? Other than it's not going to be I'm not going to sell any more than what they do. What, NYX? You know? It's only going to be one book, I think, and then it's going to be giant size some other book. They do this for these fifth week events or, oh, we're going to, it's just one of these things they do. I would never not buy a book that I think somebody will buy. It just doesn't make any sense, and it definitely doesn't make any money. Now, when you buy something hoping or maybe courting, I mean, you're definitely courting sometime people buying things. Case in point, there's a new story arc coming in a book that I like, but it's underselling. This is a great time to jump in, so you get extra copies. Maybe you get the copy from the real hot, maybe Mark Spears did a cover, Maybe somebody that I know in my store that people like did the cover. Let's say Art Adams. There's a chance they're going to buy it. There's a chance they're going to read it. And maybe they'll be buying a book that I like and I wanted to push on them, But I'm not going to, I don't know. I find it funny when I hear this, but maybe these guys came out and said something very, very negative about somebody or very, very in favor of somebody. Pink Pride Hulk. He, she, Hulk. Good evening, Yule. Good evening. How's your father? I know Yule, but she is supposed to be 16 and a half, so she is under 17. So well, yeah, but isn't this like never mind. I was going to say something about Utah. Spider Guy, high school kids dress a lot worse than that black cat. There's that South Park episode that came out like a year or so ago, and all the teenage girls or the girls in high school, maybe it was even the kids in the elementary, are doing all the belly shirts and the low riding jeans. I don't know what. It's true. And I'm like, it's just kids. I'm sure Trump has inspired some comic villain plots. Yeah, well, I mean, it wouldn't be hard, like, especially if you're doing something with like the Justice League. That's where like those Batman splits from the Justice League because they won't do anything politically, like go after like a despot or something like that. And that's when he'll do Batman and the Outsiders. Or maybe it's like Justice League. Well, Justice League Dark would be Uncanny X-Force would be a great example of that, when they were like sending the X-Force guys out to go and kill some people. I need some people killed. You know what I mean? Wes and Co can't go a day without whining about how much they hate comics. Throw a curveball and release a positive video once in a while. Even in the recommendations videos, there's like a negative slant to something. If you want to be seen, you got to do it. But I'm just like here to talk some comics. You know what I mean? And X-Men, the last 2 issues were really freaking good. Now it's going to be this whole. Well, let's talk about that in a second. Oh, I see. It's 5 giant-size X-Men books. I'm sorry. Nixon was a popular fellow in Marvel Comics back in the early 70s and even shows up on a fantastic. Suck it to me. Yeah, the writer said the miniseries is about taking Kamala back in time to learn to be an X-Men, and then she will return to the present. What the fuck does that even mean? Time travel story? Don't care. I mean, Black Cat main universe is only in Spider-Man for variant covers, so 616 Cat also shows up for booty calls for Peter. So Joe Kelly was the guy that did the 2-issue Black Cat stories where Spidey says something about, oh, Mary Jane's like a sister, and everybody got up in arms about that. But the way I looked at it is, that's just kind of something you're saying. That's just something I'm saying. So, the person I'm with, knows there's nothing like going on. And even if there is, that's what you say, right? If anybody knows someone that said that, I don't mean them. Let me get this pick up. D3. Oh, that sounds bad. All right, going back. Ms. Marvel, Dwayne Muth. Ms. Marvel, I don't know. I find, for the most part, when it's a kid character in a comic book, I probably don't want to read about them too much. There's very few instances late in life where I've been really into a title that is written more for a kid. And I'm going to say, and it's partially because of nostalgia, but the Teen Titans, the Jeff Johns ones were pretty good. But also the ones that happened recently with Adam Glass, I think, and Bernard Chang, those were really good. There were some other incarnations of it that I thought were ones that I like. Runaways from Marvel, that was excellent. Just the first part. Anything BKV when he left, you don't read that anymore. Personally, as far as I'm concerned. But I didn't read New Warriors when I was older. When I got to Doom Patrol, it's like I'm not going to read New Warriors. I'm not going to go back to like kiddie kind of stuff or all ages stuff. I've read, you keep it again with this nostalgia. Maybe I'll read a new Spider-Man with a teenager or something like that. Most recently, Kari Andrews did that Erratic series. I thought that was pretty good. I thought he did. Actually, I thought it was an excellent series, and it should have sold better. I mean, Wes does a lot of negative videos because it gets views, but he is correct on a lot of stupidity that some of the comics will have. Yeah, but it's pointing out the stupidity. And the thing is like, even in my most favorite comics, there was probably some really hokey moments that like are kind of unforgivable to anybody else that's reading it and doesn't like it. You know what I mean? So, to say, oh, this is the worst thing ever, doesn't know the time I hated something similar for longer. You know what I mean? And people in the store recently, you know, like sometimes it kind of grates on me also, or I feel like other people aren't enjoying it. And, you know, it kind of can also affect my mood when it comes to things. But there's a weird thing going on with Amazing Spider-Man, and I think all these different writers being on it, and the Point Des and stuff like that, maybe even just the story itself, if it was a little bit more contained and it wasn't so over and over and over and, you know, mopey Peter Parker, which is totally a legitimate thing for Peter Parker to be. How many times has that motherfucker quit? You know what I mean? But anyway, going back to Wes. I should have turned that off. Hold on a second. Nobody needs to get a hold of me. Yeah, but negative videos are good for views. I love that Wonder Woman more. Wait, which Wonder Woman was that? The Absolute Wonder Woman. Gotcha. I mean, I am reading Absolute Superman Fan okay. It's been 7 out of 10 for me, so I don't think it's a train wreck. I find Wes more often than I find wrong more often than right. Well, you know, it's good to see an opposing point of view also, you know. Oh my gosh, you guys, look at you. Mark Howard, the Lex Luthor bio comic is a parody of The Art of the Deal. It totally was, yes. Black Panther kind of stopped watching Wes. 2 weeks ago on the Aficionados, he had Joe Casey on, so I would definitely recommend that episode. I haven't been going on because I'm not going on social media right now. I'm maintaining the sale thing. It's coming up real soon for the store. I'm going to show you some stuff in the box in a few moments. But yeah, I just don't have time to invest in that stuff right now. And they're going to have a real fun time in Dallas, and I wish I could be there. But it's just, you know, everything's the way it is right now. Naughtiest Maximus says, happy Mardi Gras, everyone. Jerry Ford was always popping up in the 70s, a little bandage on his forehead. Jerry Ford, yes. I think Ms. Marvel is an okay character, but she feels like she would be good as a support for sure, rather than being pushed to the forefront. Yeah. I mean, when it was like the Champions or the New Avengers or something, and she was just a character, that wouldn't have been so bad, but I don't know. Again, I don't know if I need to read any other kid books, you know, and that's kind of where Ms. Marvel is for me. I thought you were starting to say Bernard and Tim Drake together for a second, Yule, and you started to make me wretch. I didn't remember that. Poor Kamala needs some love or good writing. Ain't holding my breath waiting. I wish they would do this. This is what I was thinking about this the other day. If they're going to put let's just be real about this for a second, okay? Unless we're talking about team books and very, very specific things, selling books are usually white male characters, okay? Why? If those are the thing, and it's not all of them, it's Batman, maybe it's Superman, maybe Green Lantern, maybe Spider-Man, and a couple other whiteys. But there's all these other comic books, right? And I'm sure everybody that works on these other comic books is talented and quality, and these are all the most exceptional people working on them. But they could be doing the ones that everybody buys regardless, right? And then you could put all the really super great people like the Jeff Johns or the Scott Snyders or the Mark Millers. You know, he's going to come back and do a Marvel miniseries or something. Guess who's going to be in that miniseries? Wolverine. Well, no fucking shit. You're going to do a miniseries with Wolverine? That'd be like going over to fucking DC and doing a goddamn Batman book. You know what I mean? Wow. No fucking shit. You did a Batman book. Congratulations. Put somebody good. Put Hickman on a Kamala book. And then if you can't get her to sell, if you can't get a Ms. Marvel, if you can't get Captain Marvel over, you can't get Black Lightning or Power Man or Luke Cage or whatever, you got nothing to cry about. We put our best. We put all the great artists on it too. We put Jorge Jimenez. Why would he do Batman? I mean, for fuck's sake, in the 90s, we had Graham Nolan doing Batman. You know what I mean? Anybody could draw Batman. It's going to sell like a certain amount. Wes puts out about 2 videos a day. He can throw in 2 positive videos a week. Shouldn't be hard if you actually like comics. Wes is mad he's not 12 anymore. He is having him. The thing is like he wasn't a 12-year-old reading comic books. You know what I mean? He's an adult that liked comics, got into it, made it his thing, and comics are kind of letting him down. Well, comic books have been letting all of us that read it since 12 down a long, long time. I had many a break where I'm like, I'm only reading books. I'm only watching films, you know, that type of shit. Comic books, I mean, holy shit, you go back and you read some of those really classics and you're like, oh. But I've been reading the New Defenders lately, and holy shit, those are still really good. Peter B. Gillis, he was killing it on a book that nobody gave a shit about. And those are the books that are really the best. Dude, why did Hellblazer Dead in America get CX? Is that a symbol? It was just like a 9-issue series. I don't know what you mean. Tall cans in the air for John Constantine. John Constantine. As long as he drinks and smokes. Let's see. Well, I can say with Yule, I have talked to him. I do like Yule. He will let me rant on something I disliked, but always will point out some positives. Also, maybe in the show. Your Turf is Mine says Kamala has a lot of potential. If they matured her into her early to kid 20s, she's a better read. I think you know where a character like her would really, really be beneficial is to age her up. But I don't think you do it like you do with John Kent, because that was a mistake over at DC. What you have is a book like The Exiles, which is a book that Marvel has done. Or you at one time were going to be doing stuff with Kang, you know, or you do a really explicit, and I don't mean like your fake bagged comics that are explicit with the wingdings. Like just like a hardcore edgy, like that Avengers Twilight that came out recently, or a Watchmen, you know, and stuff like that. And you don't necessarily make them the most important character, but you make them like one of the hardest, or oh fuck, I never saw that coming character. That be Kamala Khan. You do that kind of stuff, and people will. The thing is that it took all of these new shitty characters to make people from back in my day actually accept Monica Rambeau. If you just would have sprinkled them in a little bit sooner, people would have liked Monica Rambeau a whole. I like female characters. Why, back when I was a kid, ain't nobody liked that character back then. But now all of a sudden, magic. It's like David Copperfield in here fucking made a greatest character ever. That's reading too many fucking comics. That's the ins and outs, you know. It's like all of a sudden people like the Falcon. I liked the Falcon when he was the Falcon, but when he was showing up all the time, I couldn't fucking stand him. But now that he's trying to be Captain America, yes, you do need to sell some sneakers for that sale. I'll be showing some pictures or some comics in a second. Okay, I'm gonna run through. Hey, Ewell, do you do those raffles for giveaway alternate covers? I wanna throw in something as part of your upcoming sales, a $10 gift card people can use to pick up some comics for your store. We can talk. We'll talk. Oh my god, it took forever. Yes, it did take forever, but the last issue was really good. When he's like they're doing the whole voiceover thing, but Jason Aaron's doing it right. And it leads up because Batman got away from that whispering motherfucker. But we know Batman said something to him. And it's like this whole thing where it's just building up and it's just like a State of the Union address, and it's just Batman. And it's like, and what did I say to him? He's all, I'm Batman. And this guy's like, no! It was so stupid and so good. I thought it was the best. It was so good. Let's see. Marvel Comics' big issue for retailer having creators that can help them sell and us fans be able to afford is too many books. Putting out I have I wish comic books would be able to stay on the shelf longer. The problem with the physical media, just like if you can look at your streaming network, it's all about content. I need them coming back all the time, just watching this stuff. And oh well, we got Seinfeld, so they're going to stick around and watch those in the middle of us bring out another season of something else or whatever. Whereas it would be like, I want to read all the comic books, and they would be on the shelves for like a long time because Daredevil wasn't a monthly comic book, so there'd be time to go back and get it. There'd be time to go back and get those lesser. Think about it this way. I know it's hard to believe. We used to read comic strips in newspapers, and at the beginning of the of reading the comic strips, I would read the ones that I like, and then as there was like less and less that day to read, or that on that page, I start like, well, I'll read Shoe. Oh, I'll read BC. Oh, I'll read Hagar the Horrible. I don't know about these other ones. Do I really want to read a Nancy? Do I really want to read a Family Circle? A Family Circle, it's just one thing, right? Do I really? I mean, it's one thing to like debase myself and read a Garfield, but a Marmaduke also, Suske gave Savage Sword a Conan 10 out of 10 this week. Well, Suske is right for once. I can't believe on the show that he was on with Joe Casey, he said there was nothing good from Marvel this week. And I was just like, wow. I mean, I told Joe Casey that Joe Kelly wrote the best Superman story ever. But I mean, at least that was his buddy, you know what I mean? Black Panther, man, we miss you. I hope everything's okay where you are. I prefer Sam as Falcon, and I get shouted down every time I say that. I don't disagree necessarily. I just wish Paul Smith would have drawn all 3 issues of that first miniseries. I don't know. I had those Marvel record, the little 45 and the comic books that would go along with it. And it always had the one with Captain America and the Falcon on the cover. And there was like Baron, oh my God, Baron Zemo. And he's like shooting them. And he's like, oh, you're going to get all fucked up like I did, but worse. And I think the birds all flying in. Yeah, that shit's great. Oh, there you go. Is that the? Oh no, that's Red Skull. That's a different one. 119. Yeah. I hear that people weren't so friendly back in the day when they started introducing all these diverse characters. So I know it's hard to believe that anybody would have ever been that way at any one time. But, you know, Kitty Pryde was a young character and I was a young boy growing up, and she was kind of like, oh, you know, this is my kid character that I'm growing up with. Maybe Liana or something like that as her pals. And you know, Kitty Pryde's got a dance instructor who's black, and Bishop comes in later. I'm old enough already by this time to be able to understand about acceptance. But that was somebody's first, oh my God, this guy's cool. You know what I mean? And not a machine like freaking, you know, Deathlock or something like that. You know, it doesn't have to just be some dude with a Jerry curl. And I love how poor Black Lightning, man, he has the worst hairstyle, and then he has that big bulky outfit, and then he's just a bald guy also. It's just doesn't look good. They can't get Black Lightning ever right. All right, let's talk about some new comic books coming out this week. Oh my gosh, you all. Jeez Louise. All right, let's hope I don't get shut down for this.
Why, we sell a dozen a day in this price range.
Who buys them? Tax collectors?
Even if I had to pay, it would be worth it. Just for the occasion.
What, is something big going on somewhere?
What's going on right here? It's a big night.
Well, it's just an old run-of-the-mill Wednesday. Well, the calendar's full of them.
Oh, that's right. The calendar is full of them, and I'm just making sure we're not shut down. Tomorrow, the 5th of March, on the 23rd, we're having a big sale, and we're going to be talking about that in just a few moments. All right. Let's see. What didn't show up? 8. 8 didn't show up. All right, let's get 8. And then 5 through 1. All right, we're going to run through these because I got a lot of comic books to show you, or at least a little bit of a lot. All right. First up, we've got Moon Man. This keeps coming out through Image. Congratulations. King Cuddy. Is that how you say his name? Kid Cuddy. I keep saying King. And Higgins, Ryan Higgins, who did all those Power Ranger books. Coming up from Image again, Ultra Mega. This is number 8 of 9. James Herron doing the writing and the art. Dave Stewart coloring. One World Under Doom banner. Doctor Strange of Asgard. What is Doctor Strange doing now that Doom is the Sorcerer Supreme? So we're finding out here. What is this guy? Derek Landy on writing and Carlo Magno, I think, on art. I think that's who it is. What if Mickey and friends became the Avengers? Why, I've been thinking about that all my life, and now it's finally coming true. We're going to find out. There you go. Coming from Diamonds, so who knows when. Thundercats number 13. Also, Space Ghost number 10. Why, these MFers. I've been waiting for this book. I can't see it on my invoices. They're all screwed up, and I even ordered it again. So if it comes out tomorrow, I'm going to be very, very upset. And lastly, I won't be upset if Herculoids number 1 comes in. By now, they're starting to do these IPs that I'm interested in. When Thundar comes out, I don't know if I can handle it. But yeah, Herculoids. Secret Six #1 through DC. Look, it's got Dreamer in it, everybody. Oh, it looks like John Kent. Oh, this is going to be quite the winner of the book. Nicole Maines, the character who played the character Dreamer on the Supergirl show, I think. Am I right? Nice House by the Sea, the sequel to Nice House by the Lake. James Tynion and Alvaro Martinez Bueno on art. Jordi Belair coloring. Moon Knight, Fist of Khonshu #6. I've had out my orders, so watch out. This has been selling pretty well. Another Jed McKay joint. The Immortal Thor 21. This is one of the best sellers. Behind me at the counter of the store, I have what I like to call my cigarette books. I have to pull them down so I can hand them to you. And Immortal Thor is one of them. And I have not even finished the first issue. And I'm a Thor fan. So what do I know? Great Alex Ross covers, though. And I mean, the Executioner is cool. Is that Thanos behind him? Wolverine #7. There's a lot of debate in the store about whether or not this is a good book. It seems that it's gotten better lately, but all the early issues that I read sucked. Well, actually, the first issue was good, but then the second issue, there was something so appalling in it, I don't think I could ever read another Wolverine issue again. But some people are, and from what I understand, it's been good the last few issues. Hyde Street #4. This is Ivan Reis on artwork and Jeff Johns writing, because he writes most of the Ghost Machine books. Batman Full Moon by Rodney Barnes. And look at that. It's a cool glow-in-the-dark cover. And this is the 4th issue of this 4-issue miniseries. It's a Black Label Batman. And it started when it, like Halloween time. JSA #5 by Jeff Lemire. The 4th issue sold out, and I had to reorder. So I assume people are liking it. I'm a big Jeff Lemire fan, but I haven't read anything past the first issue. Two-Face #4 comes out. Do I need to say anything about that? Batgirl #5. This one's been doing pretty well for me in the store, and it's got some really cool covers. And if I was going to read a Batgirl that isn't Barbara Gordon, this would be the one I'd want to read. And now, oh wait, damn it. Hold on. Uncanny X-Men #11 is the first part of the X-Manhunt series that's going to run through the X-Men issues all month long. And then there's going to be like an epilogue issue. So if you read Uncanny X-Men or X-Men, and to lesser extent X-Force, X-Factor, and to a lesser extent Extraordinary X-Men, and to a lesser extent NYX, then you're going to need to pick up all these other books if you care about this X-Manhunt story, because Charles Xavier, at the end of the last issue of X-Men 12, that Alpha Flight one I showed you, he escaped from prison. And it follows up in NYX. And it follows up in, oh, I forgot to mention Storm. Storm does well for me already. So that's another book that people are going to have to watch out for. This could be very, very difficult for some people. And lastly, we've got the Ultimates #10, which has been selling out pretty steadily lately. So come in and get yours early, or else you might miss out. And then you'll have to wait and reorder hell like so many other people. All right. You know what that means, right? I mean, I'll go to you guys chatting also, but this is the big one.
No! What's in the box? Whatever you do, stay away! What the is in the box? Hey, Mr. Tambourine Man, play the song.
So I know I've shown you guys some things that weren't in bags and boards. Maybe in some ratty bags and stuff like that. And maybe not priced. And I do have a couple of things like that right now. And they are not in great condition. I mean, you can see right here. I mean, it looks fine in the bag. But we have 2 issues of Fantastic Four Annual number 4 of varying degrees of quality. Number 5 and number 6 got some first appearance. Got some first appearances. Got a lot of lines in these books. So I had a big Silver Age Spider-Man and Fantastic Four buy, and those are going to be in the sale. So I got to make sure there's good Marvel stuff also. But here's some really, really nicely priced Detective Comics that I've shown you before. These are like in the 430s. All in really, really nice condition. And all priced like they are in worse condition. You know what I mean? Price to move. So there's going to be a lot of that. I already told some customers about these commandees that I have going on right here. And oh yeah, I found a couple of later issues of Jonah Hex also. There's that one. But if it calls for it, I put these in Mylar because they look really nice that way. And Commandee's a high dollar book. You know, you'd be surprised. A lot of these books are all just so very high dollar anyway. And I'm not talking thousands or hundreds or anything like that. But, you know, if you're complaining about comic books being $18, $28, $30, I mean, I should say if you're complaining about comic books these days, and then you're going to go and try and buy those books, you're going to be spending a lot more if the condition is right. And like I was saying, you know, in these books right here, the condition is probably right and the price is better than that. So I've got Omega the Unknown and all sorts of stuff. But, and I mean a lot of it too. These are some biggies that I have here. And again, mostly of this stuff, it's going to be Bronze Age. So I've got Defenders number 1. Look at that. Now there are some that are missing, and it's a pretty expensive book, you know. But I mean, I got it priced a lot less than it would be normally. So if you went to a show and you saw these books, you'd be having a haggle. There ain't no haggling here. And if they're of lesser degree of quality in price, you know, they just mark them all the way down if it's not worth it. So I got a lot of Defenders. I got Defenders Annual 1. I've got all these giant sized books. Some pretty fun stuff there. Let's see what else. I mean, geez, just so much. Oh, I've got all these Green Lanterns. 92. I was bagging and pricing these, and Jill was like, "Man, these covers, I don't know, there's just something about them that they just stand out better." I'm sure if like it was a comic that was on the shelf of then, surrounded by all the other ones that look like these, maybe these wouldn't be so special and different. But you got some really fantastic Mike Grell covers. He's doing interiors on a lot of these. You got the classic Joe Staton. So here's 99. I don't have the one where Guy Gardner becomes a Green Lantern in here, though. It's such a shame. All right, so many GLs, a lot of Jonah Hex. I showed you the She-Hulks. I showed you the Spider-Womans, and then I have this small box right here I've been working on. And this thing's full. Oh, let me tell you. Did you know that this issue of GL actually is worth money finally? And this is in very, very nice condition. Not only do I have a bunch of GL in order, and like I said, they're pretty good as far as the price is concerned. And when it comes to the $5 books, I'm going to probably make a deal for anybody that buys 10 or 20 books. We got some more Marvel, some early team ups. These conditions vary, but if you're just a fan of John Byrne and Chris Claremont, a few of these right here are going to be some of your favorite books that you might want if you don't have them already. And I got later issues of that. Here's another one. 112. Some pretty fun stuff. Oh, I got this classic. One of the photo covers. Yeah, Marvel Team Up. And I got a ton, let me tell you, a ton of issues of Master of Kung Fu. And did you know, along with a lot of other people, that issue 24 had Walt Simonson working on it? And a lot of these are just Paul Gulacy. I mean, just an amazing amount of Paul Gulacy. I've never seen Paul Gulacy do so many consecutive issues before. And then after he's done with it, it's freaking Mike Zeck. And I had no idea Mike Zeck did so many issues of Master of Kung Fu. These are 40s, but I'm going all the way up into the 60s. Check out this cool cover. This one's great. If I can get it out. Look at that. Anytime you got the pieces right there. It's funny because like Paul Gulacy, when he's not working on the book, then he's allowed to do covers. But when he was working on the book, it was like, it was Gil Kane doing covers and all sorts of other people. So yeah, I got a ton of Master of Kung Fu. Here's that one with Iron Fist I'm telling you about. It's a pretty pricey book. All these are going to be at the sale, along with a whole bunch of other stuff. I have until the 23rd, so we have a couple more Tuesdays where I'm going to be showing off other things to you. But that was a ton right there. And you can't even imagine all the different things that are going on right now. All right, hang on. It's almost the end of the show, but I wanted to give my State of the Union address. Let's see. I had a thing for that. Let me see. Oh, here we go. The distaste of the union. Well, I want to let everybody know that I believe that comic books are at an all-time high. Comic books are soaring, and they're never going to come down, ever. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. And likewise, Fantastic Comics is just going to soar. Hell, maybe we'll be to Mars before Elon, you know what I mean? Fantastic Comics is doing pretty darn good. And depending on how this sale goes, and depending on how many customers keep their jobs, I think we're looking pretty darn good, because it's not like I get bags and boards from any of these countries where I'm going to have to pay extra money from for anything, right? The comic books right now are looking pretty solid. We've got Jim Lee Hush. We've got Ultimates doing really well. We've got Absolutes doing really well. We've got one issue in, along with some side books, One World and Doom doing well. I'm enjoying the X-Men books, the ones that I read. I would highly recommend people check those out. Jed McKay's a pretty darn good writer. Jeremy Adams is a pretty darn good writer. There are a lot of books that are out there that aren't Marvel and DC that are very good. The Ghost Machine books, the Joe Casey books that I'm reading right now, Blood Squad 7 is excellent. There's a bunch of other things that are out there from Dark Horse that I would recommend checking out. You got your Millerverse things. IDW does some books. From my Star Trek heads, it's not like it's a lot of people, but from the Star Trek heads, they're really enjoying the Star Trek books that are going on right now. So there are a lot of really good things happening in comics, and now DC and Marvel are going to do, they're going to team up and do one-shots with characters and things like that. This could be a real cool, profitable for the store and enjoyable for the customers. And for me too, I'm a fan of comic books. And I think comic books are fun. I like reading them. I don't get bent out of shape when a stupid comic is made, except for the fact that I have to file it or order it or sit on it. You know, there's elements to those things that, you know, can irritate me, but it's on a level that you aren't usually seeing from people in you know, it's like it's buying another Batman book. Oh, but this is the greatest one. Oh man, well, why do I have to buy all these other ones? It's like, it's always got to be more content, more content, more content, more content. And it's tough. It's tough keeping up, and that's what really wears me down, probably more than anything. I mean, as a fan, it wears me down the most. But you don't usually have to see that stuff. You know what I mean? And this is how I suffer. This is just one of the many ways I suffer. Oh, you don't know. You're just making money off my fucking shitty collection that ain't making no money. I got a shitty collection too. You see that? See those Challengers of the Unknown right there? Doesn't that prove it? Who cares about that Star Wars right there? It's Carlos Maglia, and you should. I understand where we're at. I mean, we suffer for our sport. We suffer for our love of the industry, and we're hoping that we're going to be able to impart it in another person in another way. Or maybe not. some people just get rid of their stuff. I know there's definitely someone in chat that does, and I think that's great. As I've said before, throw your comic books away. It makes mine worth more money. Potentially. Probably not. There's a reason why you threw them away, because nobody cares. But you can always give them to somebody that will. And that's where they fall in love with it. And maybe they're the next person that's going to carry the torch. I think comic books have a possibility of, continuing. I think people like drawing. Until they make money, they do it for free. You know what I mean? Why'd you do all that stuff? Why'd you learn to do that? Any artist that's getting into something to make money, they better be doing something like special effects. I make masks in my studio for horror movies. Oh, you mean the industry that traditionally pays the least to make a movie? All right, let's go to chat. Yeah, I mean, I think comics are great right now. I think things are really good. I'm not trying to be anti the people that are anti, but I think there's a lot of doomsaying and pay attention to when a comic book is coming out. When I grew up, I bet I could pull one out right now. Is this it? No. I bet I have one right here. It's just no idea. It doesn't matter. I like the Marvel when they did the assistant editors month. One of my favorite issues is the Saturday Night Live and the Marvel team up. They had the samurai, whatever he was at the time, Jim Belushi, and then the David Letterman and the Avengers. I love that issue. And maybe someone's Kitty Pryde Fantasy Nightcrawler Swashbuckling issue with Dave Cockrum was their favorite. It definitely was not mine, though. All right, let's see. Vision and Black Panther were favorites in late 60s and 70s. I'll tell you when Black Panther was my favorite was when Christopher Priest wrote it. Holy shit. That series was fucking great. He had a white dude ambassador or a white dude liaison to New York in New York or something. And Black Panther was like, doing his whole consulate. I'm gonna scratch my nose. He was doing the whole consulate, American ambassador thing. And it was awesome. I thought that was really good. Let's see. I just remember when Super Friends tried to introduce some diverse characters that today seem kind of, oh boy, like Samurai, El Diablo, Black Vulcan. That's because they couldn't use Black Lightning. And of course, the big guy, Apache Chief. Apache Chief was introduced to Joe Kelly's JLA. It was right after the hour. See, now you're not going to get this. You're not going to get that. You're not going to get this on another show. Okay. All right. I got to go back to it. What did you say? Apache Chief. That's right. Okay. So, Joe Kelly was writing Justice League or JLA. And it was right after Our Worlds at War. And Our Worlds at War culminated with like Aquaman dying. But because of the animated series that was coming up, the Dwayne McDuffie one, Aquaman was like the second story. and they were going to introduce the character to the Justice League universe. This was not unlimited. It was just the regular Justice League. And it was pretty much mandated, from what I understand, that Joe Kelly bring Aquaman back to life, like months later. So he had this really big, long, drawn-out story where the Justice League has to go back in time to try and find a way to magic Aquaman back to life. Meanwhile, Nightwing is leading a new team of Justice Leaguers in the Today time. Anyway, there's some native characters, and one of them's Apache Chief, and he says a nut chop, and he gets big, and he's pretty awesome, and so is his wife. Doug Monkey does the artwork, so you know I'm a fan. I'm a Thor fan too. That's why I'm not reading Immortal Thor. Yeah. I hope this Moon Knight is good. It is, I'm sure it's fine. I've been digging JSA and Batgirl. DC is killing it lately. They are doing some good things for sure. Oh, and I read the anyway. Anyone remember Commandy Challenge 1 through 12? Well, I remember it, but I also remember having it but not reading it. Oh wow, Dwayne Muth. Photo cover of Marvel Team Up is Joe Jusko dressed as Cap. That's great. That's great. Let's see. Just don't buy digital from Dark Horse. Okay, very good. Image is probably stronger than it's been in years. DC is in a better place since at least the New 52. Are they in a better place? They have too many fractured things, and with the supposed move away from Black Label to go to Vertigo, but now we're seeing all this Neil Gaiman stuff. I don't know. I it's not like those were like really big money makers for them, but I think it could be a thing. And then lastly, Panthers raid 73-75. Is that all that Dwayne McDuffie stuff also? Is that who that is? That's right. Oh no, Don McGregor, I mean. And Superstar Billy Graham on art. Is that what that is? All right. So all those names that have been scrolling on the bottom are my Patreon members. I think there's a new one that I'm missing out on, or it might be the next month. I apologize to you, but I want to let everybody else know that you are indeed definitely seen. You don't want to be like this guy.
You know, my last name is Costanza. That's Italian. So you and I are kind of like countrymen. Huh?
Paisanos!
650 your change. Ah, yes. And I always take care of my paisanos. So here's a little something.
Antonio!
Sí!
Vieni qua! Questa miserabile pastrona!
All right, we made it through another episode, and pretty much on time also. I have a new video I'm going to play that's probably going to get me in trouble. That's why I waited for it at the end. I still have this much beer, but it was a tall can, and I'm going to probably eat something now. Thank you very much, everybody, for joining me. If you are anywhere close by a local comic store, go in and buy something. Buy a new comic book. Buy one of the comic books we talked about today. There's a lot of really good things that are out there. Joe Casey's Blood Squad 7 is excellent, but it might be a little too adult, so don't buy it for little Jimmy, okay? Little Jimmy makes me think of John Cena. What's our truth going to say about all this? Oh, there's so many things. Thank you very much. Have a good night. Have a good week, and I'll see you next week.